Good evening and welcome to another exciting show. And unfortunately, our guest, John Starkey, despite sending him several emails, he hasn't received them. And I've got him on the phone now, and I don't know why he's not receiving them. Are you still there, John? Hello? Yes, I've sent another email through to you. Have you received it? Okay, well, I'll keep sending them until you receive them. Okay, so I'll send you another one, and I'll just here we go, and it is definitely John Starkey 123 without Outlook, isn't it? Okay, and it's the title Studio. Okay, and I've just sent a third one to you now, and I'll now send a fourth one to you. Okay, so I should think they should come through soon. Yeah, have you another email I could send it through on? Excellent. We look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you. Goodbye. Yes. Anyway, all exciting, isn't it? These hitches. Well, so I think probably the best thing we could do, I'll do a preview of um, John as he's hopefully logging on now. So where are we? Do. Now, here he is.
Hello. In these troubled times, there is a light, a strong light at the end of the tunnel, and it's coming very soon. Let me map out that mysterious pathway called the future for you. I'll be delighted to have a look at what's going to happen for you. You can have a reading personally here in Llandudno in the West Midlands or in London in Covent Garden. Or, of course, at any time, you can give me a call and I can do a reading for you by telephone. It'd be great to read for you. And I think you'll find that this few months ahead are going to be very exciting indeed, and exciting in a good way. Bye for now.
There we go. Um, yes. So that's John Starkey. It's a pity I've sent him 5 emails. And one has got through. So let's hope he comes on air pretty soon. Now, I'm not a clairvoyant, so I've got to fill in until he does come on. Hopefully, he does. Um, but first of all, let's have a quick look in chat, shall we? Uh, Blue Ray was the first person in chat. Good evening, Blue Ray. And we got Alice Gorgeous. Speak up, lad. Yes. I hope I'm coming through loud and clear. Envro 4000. Evening all. Matilda. Hey. Um, can hardly hear me. Okay, right. I'll deal with that. Just one moment. There's probably a problem with my microphone. So we'll just turn the sound up a little bit. Here we go. Yes, what an exciting evening it's going to be. Yes, it's right. Let's look here, and I've just shoved the volume up. Here we go. I think that should be louder. Is that yes? Is that better? I sincerely hope so. Uh, Sounds still too low. Right. Oh, I'll do some more. See if I can actually do something else with the sound. Bum, 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 bum. I'll put the microphone up extremely loud. What else have I done? Right, let's have a look. And I've just put something out. Right, okay, that should be okay now. Right, is that better? I hope it is. Yes, I hope. Glad you, because the microphone's got a mind of its own. It keeps shoving itself. It goes up and down like a tart straws. So there we go. But as I say, I don't know where John Starkey is. I sent, as you heard me on the telephone to him. He still hasn't got through. I don't quite know why. And uh, now, Hatchy has said, "Oh, here he is." Okay. And it will not accept it for some unknown reason. Here we go. There's a problem. Right. Here we go. Let's accept him. Come on. No, it won't accept him. Right. I've got to log on to another feed to try and get it through. Oh, these things are sent to try us, aren't they? Try us, they really do. Here we go. And we should be here, folks, any minute now when we got through over the technical problems. Here we are. Right. Now. Right. Welcome, John Starkey. Hello? I can see he's in the. I've got him into the studio. But you need to switch your camera on and put your microphone on. Hello? Are you? Shall we all hold hands and we all sort of go, can you hear us? Because welcome to the studio. You're here. That's good.
I
Good
can see you
evening.
in full glory now. Good
That's
evening.
good. That's good. We've got over the technical problems, and I can see you. And I've just done a little preview. I played one of your YouTube videos where you said you
Oh,
can do readings and things like that. So welcome, John Starkey, to the show, and welcome
thank
to
you very
as
much.
I say, an exciting news show. And we've got a lot of people in chat. Hopefully, after the first hour, we may have some people joining us. We don't know. But first of all, can you tell us a little bit? I mean, I believe you've got a shop in Llandudno in Wales. But can we go back a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself because you're a clairvoyant. So I'm fascinated in the subject.
Well,
And
it was
so,
fascination and fear that took me towards the subject. As a boy, I was very much involved in being able to sense things and thought everybody thought in exactly the same way. And of course, the realization that they didn't was the thing that made it very interesting. And I've done my 52nd year this year as a
50
clairvoyant.
second.
Yes,
Wow.
that's it. Yeah. Consulting people and working on all sorts of strange pieces of work that I
Mhm.
find fascinating. A great way of life that's got me where smoke can't get.
Well, that's only. By the way, there's lots of people admire your moustache. I'm quite envious of
Oh,
it.
good, good.
I
Yeah.
grew one once, and it was one of
Mm-hmm.
those droopy ones, and I had a bald
Oh,
patch at the side, you see.
oh,
And I got
dear.
fed up when I was at work. People called me Charles Bronson. Oh, blimey, it's Charles
Yeah,
Bronson walking
yeah,
in. So I
yeah.
shaved it off after about a week.
Oh,
So there it goes, you know. But
mm.
now, was there a sort of a pivotal moment when you thought, hang on a minute, there's something I can sense things that other people can't sense? Because I seem to
No, it's the
recollect
other
you
way
were on.
around.
Was it really?
Totally the other way around. Why doesn't everybody think like this? Yeah,
Because I seem to recollect you was on. Was it LBC Clive Ball show?
that's right. Yes,
4 years. Been doing my
yes.
homework,
A little bit more than 4 years. Yes. Hmm.
and I think you were the gentleman, if I'm right. And I don't know how many years ago, but my father was alive, and so it must have
Hmm.
been over 15 years ago because
Possibly. Yes.
he
Yeah.
passed over in
Mhm.
2010, so it must have been before
Oh,
then.
well,
And you were
mm.
the gentleman that could sort of say to people, if you look on your dressing table behind you on the blue box on the left and things like that. Am I
Yes, that's
right?
right. Yes, I was just
Wow.
picking up from you at the moment the problems with the lower part of your back. I think you'll probably find they get a lot better for you as time goes on.
The lower part of my back.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's very
Yes,
interesting.
I don't think it's a serious problem, but it's one of those things that'll go away, I think.
Well, I did have a back pain, and that
Mm.
is the
Mm.
kidney region, I think, isn't it? Kidneys.
Oh, yes. Yes. Mm.
That's very interesting. Yes, and it did come back because I did have high blood pressure at one time, and it was really.
Oh, yes.
And then I managed to get that down, and I did it naturally.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
don't
good for
take
you.
tablets and things like that, and
Best way to
that's
do it. Yeah.
that's thanks to a fantastic doctor called Dr. Miles Fleetwood, a
Oh,
naturopath.
great.
No, sorry,
Yeah.
natural. Not saying naturopath. He's a acupuncturist and things like that.
Yeah.
Does natural medicine.
Super. Yeah.
So give him a plug there. But that's interesting. So you can actually tell if people have got ailments and things like that.
You can sense things, yes. Not always ailments, but all sorts
Mm.
of things. Yeah. We
Mm.
can all do it. It's just a matter of putting the mind into neutral, making the conscious mind suppressed and getting the subconscious mind to the surface. That's the thing, really, that is the important part of it.
Would that be like changing this frequency?
Yes, that's
Um,
what it does. Yes, that's right.
because people, I've noticed there was it Bob Proctor? He talks about when he was alive. He talked about changing the frequency for
Mm,
positive thoughts and changing the angle in which you look at things and things like
good way to
that.
put it. Yeah. Yeah.
And now the thing that what you do, I mean, you've got your shopping handed now,
Mhm.
and down near Waltham Abbey, we've got a shop called White Witch. I don't know if you ever heard of them at all.
No, sounds interesting, though.
Yes, they I think it's very similar to your shop as well that
Mhm.
they do.
Mm.
It's down in that's where the last King of England is buried. Not actually in the shop.
Oh, right.
It'd be a little bit difficult to get in there with him there.
Mm,
No, he's
mm,
buried at uh, Waltham Abbey, which is just around the
mm.
corner.
Oh,
Of it.
yeah.
Now, um, with the what you were saying, you can actually can you tell with people with ailments and things like that, but also do you make predictions about, for example, what will happen probably next year in this country or something like that, or is that a little
Sometimes,
bit?
yeah. If it comes to mind, definitely, yes.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And
Mm.
do you do numerology at all?
No.
My father did. Um,
Oh, how nice. Good. Mm.
and he predicted he was in World War II, and he predicted the Second Front, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
later called D-Day. It wasn't called D-Day at
Yes.
that time.
No.
Um, about 18 months before it happened, and he was spot on, not only
Mm.
with the day, but with the
Mm.
time.
That's great.
And he was one of the first, once amongst the first assault waves in,
Yes.
and then when it's 6:30, and World War II was all three
Mm.
sixes and nines all the way through.
Mm. Mm.
But I believe you go, is it you make appearances at the spiritualist churches and things like that?
I've gone to, over the years, I've had associations with spiritualism, yes. In the early
Hmm.
days, when it was more experimental spiritualism, where people were sort of testing the situation. These days, it's a bit more banal, but yes, certainly.
And that's fascinating because um, I've actually had spiritual healing done on me,
Wonderful.
and
Mm.
that is unbelievable. You actually
Yeah.
feel a buzz, I suppose you could call it. There is
Yes,
something going on. There is
yeah,
definitely something there that's going on. Do you
yeah.
actually get things like things from trees, like from nature?
From
Um,
everything, yeah, everything's got its own vibration. Yes.
and what do you think of, for example, there's a big difference between energy lines and ley lines.
Hmm.
I live about 30 miles from a energy line which goes through Royston in Hertfordshire. Have you ever done any dowsing and things
Oh,
like
yes,
that?
yes, indeed. We've got one right through from the Great Orme in Llandudno, going through to the Tudnose Church and right across the town. Yes.
Wow. Now, we've got some questions in chat because we work backwards and forwards in chat.
Mm.
So we go
Mm.
backwards. We got Stephen the Truth Seeker. It says, has your guest seen a ghost?
Yes. but not in the way that you might think. I haven't seen a ghost like a photograph, but I've certainly seen the image of a person coming towards me. Yes,
And Baby with a Laser has said, "Where is his shop in Llandudno? I
in
go
Church
there a
Walk.
lot.
It's in Church
Uh,
Walk.
Church Walk. Now, I
Yeah,
believe you have. I'll just go over, and I think that you have a shop. Sorry, you. Where is it? Sorry, I'm just pressing a few buttons here. And I believe this is your website. Is that right at the bottom here? You see that, John Starkey? Don't ask you, are you on a phone? Because it's making people feel a bit seasick. You sort of go, hey, all up and down
yes,
everywhere.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's not my vibration, don't worry.
Oh, I see. Okay. But now, so if you go onto that website, you'll find John's shop address, his telephone number, and everything else like that.
That's
Um,
it.
now, now it says, now the Jollyman says sideral motion. Never heard of that. Synoptic period time it takes for one celestial body to return to its same position in 1 year of latitude. Do you know anything about that? I'm sorry, I'm completely
Very
puzzled.
interesting, yes. I don't know anything
Yes,
about it, but it's very
yes,
interesting. You see,
right.
science now is coming back into line with spirituality. Since we realize that there is everything that around us here is energy and quantum
Hmm.
physics has been developed, then quite clearly the two things are beginning to link together. And so the scientific side of it is fascinating.
It is. It's. I actually had a chappie on, Michael Roll, many years ago. I don't know if you've heard of Michael
Mhm.
Roll. He
No,
believes
no.
in the scientific evidence for life after death.
Yes, I don't doubt it. Mm,
And he went into it, and apparently
mm,
there is, and there's a lot been suppressed about
mm,
it.
mm.
And
I think life's a dream that we fall into at the time of birth, wake up from at the time of death, and meet up with ourselves again.
that's interesting. Now, Alice Gorgeous says, "Has your guest been married twice?" I don't know what she asked that one for.
Married twice. I should be so lucky.
Now, Sue Sparkle has said, "How can I develop my psychic ability?"
Meditation is the best way. If you haven't done anything else before, just let the mind rest and do some just simple, quiet meditation, and you'll find that things will begin to develop for you quite well.
So, is there a particular technique of meditation? Because some people find it
No,
difficult.
no. Yeah, they find it difficult because they try to do it. It's about being rather than doing. It's about living in the moment. And
I
of course,
see.
that's all there really is here, the moment we live in. I don't think time exists. I think there's just a moment in which we live that's unfolding. And the technique, really, that's the best one is to relax the body, to make sure that the breathing is regular and down to the solar plexus, and then just allow yourself to be. And when you get into that state of being, you then get to know your inner self much more strongly.
That makes sense. That really does make sense. Um, now, Exo has said Michael Roll is my hero. Yes, I did an interview. If you go onto my website, foghamhallradio.com, it's on there and you can actually
Hmm.
hear it. It's Exo. So there we go. Um, uh, now, now, Hachi says, Alice Gordon, I've been married 3 times and I can only love me buds from now on. And uh, now, what do you actually what do you run any groups or anything in your shop? I mean, I've noticed that you have a circle of people that often go there. What
Yeah, we have a
exactly?
conference room. We do
Mm,
special interest weekends on various subjects. One of the most interesting we've had recently has been with Professor Derek Barnes, who is a voice healer. And he's a well known conductor in the opera world and in the classical music world. But he also runs clinics where he will tune into the vibration of your body and carry out healing. And he does that with his voice.
Really?
Mm.
And what what is it? Do you think? I mean, do you do spiritual healing at all?
No, no. I'm interested in it, of course,
Hmm.
but don't really have time to participate very much.
I see. The if people came to your shop, what would they expect? What services can you sort of give from the shop?
Oh, I do clairvoyant readings. Take an object of yours to hold, like a watch ring, something belongs to
Hmm.
you. First of all, I talk to you, and then you can ask whatever you like afterwards. We record it so that it's something that they can take with them
Hmm.
and see how it all goes.
Has there been a prediction that you've made which has been you think, wow, one of those wow situations? There's
Mm,
usually
mm,
one that sticks out. You think, wow, you know.
mm. Yeah, of course. The one that caused the most difficulty actually took place on LBC, and that was when I forecast some years ago that a high street bank would collapse. And lo and behold, in a short period of time, it did. But that doesn't always make you popular. It sometimes is something that
Yes.
other people frown upon.
You amaze me about this lower back pain thing because,
Hmm.
yeah, I have had lower back pain. That's really
Yeah, yeah.
that's really incredible how way you picked that out. That really is. That's really amazed me. That is. Now, do you think things? I mean, obviously, things give off vibrations, and I've often found that somebody might give you something, you think, "Oh, I don't like that," or you go into a shop, you're going to buy something, you think, "No, something I don't like about that." Something, you know, uh, uh, are they giving off a vibration, or is it
Oh,
the
certainly, yes.
individual?
You could stand on the bus stop one day and think, oh, don't like him, can't stand him. And the next day, you'll stand next to someone else and get a really comforting, warm feeling.
Hmm.
It's the way, really, that human relationships work.
Do you believe in this sort of? I mean, I've worked with psychopaths,
Mm,
and I've
mm,
found, I think it was Dr. Hare that said that they're not quite human. They're a different, they're subspecies of human because their frontal lobe is blank.
mm,
Have you
mm.
ever come across people that just have got no soul? Have just got, they're just blank.
No,
Have
I
you?
take a different view of it. I believe
Hmm.
that the behavior psychologically is brought about by the programming. I'm not a person who believes that people are born evil. The frontal lobe can deteriorate, and that can
Hmm.
create things like dementia, memory loss, and all sorts of other things. But I get the feeling that a lot of it is to do with how we cast ourselves in the plasticine of being a child. It's all to do with the programming in which we develop.
Now that's interesting because um, they've done scans on psychopaths' brains, and there's just
Yes,
whether we have empathy, that they haven't got empathy or anything like
yeah.
that.
But then that's
But
at the time, isn't it? That's at the
mm,
time of the condition showing itself. I think they probably start off as normal. They wouldn't get the same response to a newborn child, I'm sure.
it's interesting, very interesting. Um, Also, Stephen Truthseeker says, "Does your guest know about portals?"
Yes, yes, very interesting indeed. Mm.
Uh, can you sort of expand on that as well?
Yes, the gateways to spirituality, the gateways to other areas of existence too. And very often there are, like other ritualistic things, there are ways that are actually laid out that you can follow that will actually take you down one of those. Or you can do it generically and concentrate it from a mantra or something of that sort. But yeah, I find that fascinating.
Now,
That wonderful that
mhm.
wonderful 60s singer Donovan is extremely good at being able to communicate in that way.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that last. So you said that Donovan, something about Donovan. I didn't quite
Yes,
catch
that's
it.
right. Yeah, that wonderful 60s singer Donovan is
Oh
very
yes,
good at being able to use a mantra to access other places of existence.
yes. Now, Stephen Truthseeker has gone on and says, "Has your guest experienced non-human beings?"
No.
Um, do you think that um, this energy that people give out? I mean, there's people give out negative energy, positive energy, and things like that.
Mm.
Have you ever come up against anyone that has sort of got extreme negative energy that has changed because of what you've advised or anything like that?
No, you have to be very careful about what is
Mm,
negative and positive. For example, in a simple reading, if I said to somebody, you're going to have a baby, some people would be absolutely over the moon and enthralled by
mm.
it. Others would be really frightened and wouldn't like the idea at all.
You've got to be
So,
careful.
oh, definitely, yes.
Yes.
Energy
Uh,
is energy. It's our intention that changes it to what we want it to be, I think.
do you think people give signals out though from their brain that
No,
that, that can
certainly, yes.
we can pick up because we're like
Certainly.
radio
Hmm.
receivers and
Yeah,
transmitters.
that's why
Uh,
we have scans in hospital.
well, we have sorry in hospital. Didn't quite catch
That's why
that.
we have brain scans in
Yes,
hospital.
yes. Um, now the thing is that I've often. I mean, I'm very sensitive, very hypersensitive. I can pick up
Hmm.
a lot on people and that.
Yes.
And I've found that I've almost know what someone's going to say before they say it sometimes,
That's
which
good.
is really a bit weird. I find it a bit weird for myself. Um,
Hmm.
Now, Exo says, "I'd be shocked if someone if I was told I was having a baby." Yes, Exo, I can
Hmm.
understand that. Uh, now,
You'd be very rich.
yes, yes, it certainly would. Now, Baby with a Laser says, "Can you explain about Donovan in more detail, please?" So that's what Baby with the Laser has
Yes,
said.
I think that he is a very inspired individual. Got a lot of respect for him, and it reflects itself very
Hmm.
much in his music too. He's somebody that I think studied quite a lot in India and met some of the wonderful gurus out there and got some wonderful information. I believe, and this is only conjecture, I believe he was present when one of the Beatles walked up to the guru and said, "Good guru," and patted him on the head because he wasn't quite sure how to address him.
Ah, now Matilda said, "Is a clairvoyant the same as a clair sentient?
Um, one is a,
Sentient?
one is sentient. Yeah, one is a denomination of the other, and the sentient means that, like you said, that the clairvoyant senses things. Then,
Mm.
and the clairvoyant simply means to see without the advantage of the eyes. So yes, it's another denomination under the umbrella of clairvoyance. Very interesting one too.
It's fascinating." And Helen Duncan, now, she's quite a
Mm,
famous woman,
indeed, yes,
and I believe that the police killed her because they walked in when she was in the deep trance. I think it's in
mm,
1956 or
mm,
57, something like that.
yes,
But what happened during World War II when she was arrested under the Witchcraft Act,
yes,
and Churchill repealed the Witchcraft Act and got her released.
that's right. Yeah,
And
that was because of the sinking of the ship, wasn't it? That her
that's
son
right.
was involved with. Yeah.
Was it her son?
Oh yeah.
But ha- have you, I guess you can contact people that have passed over. Um,
Mm, I'm not certain. I think they contact us. My experience is that if
mhm.
you're concentrating in the way that we said, halfway between sleep and awake, you're just as likely to see a bit of paint missing from someone's kitchen as you are their departed grandmother.
I see. I mean, can people from, say, hundreds of years ago contact us or
I would have
speak
thought
to,
so, yes. Mm,
because you, I mean, the most weirdest feeling I ever had was when I went to, I think it's Shaw's Corner in Hertfordshire, where George
right.
Bernard Shaw lived.
Yes.
And there was something about that place I wanted to get away from it as quickly as possible.
Mm,
It's just
mm,
certain things. But also, have you found, I mean, for example, I've always had a yearning for Cornwall. I don't know why.
right. Mm,
Could that be something? I mean, historically, my family, I don't
certainly
know,
could be, yes,
not from
indeed.
there, but it's
Yeah.
very weird. And when I was a child, we go on holiday there. I used to say,
Mm,
"Oh, I'm going home. We're going home."
yes. Mm. Well, by virtue of the fact that you felt comfortable there, I would imagine there were associations, perhaps going back in history of a
Mm.
family kind, or merely of an affinity to something there. Yeah, I think that's more than likely.
That's fascinating. Now, Blu-ray 1444 said, "Can John predict we are going into a golden age?" I think that's a bit of a difficult one.
In what respect?
I don't know. Well, I think everything seems to be very depressing now and down,
Well, there's one
and I
thing
think,
that enlightens me a great deal about what we're going into, and that is
mhm,
AI, artificial intelligence, because I think that fits in with the predictions of many holy books, because I think eventually it'll lead to everlasting life. Now, if we think about what's going on, if we do get to the point that we're nearly at of taking the consciousness out of the mind and
mhm.
putting it into an efficient computer, it's quite likely that we could live for 300 years. But you see, if we then continue that forward, we could get to a point where the consciousness carries on without the body. It may do it naturally through things like spiritualism, but I think science is now catching up wonderfully. And what makes me feel extremely optimistic is artificial intelligence.
That's interesting to know. I think artificial intelligence is a bit like when the spinning jenny came in. People
Hmm.
smashed the machines up because they were frightened
Yeah,
because it
indeed.
took their jobs. But
Yes,
look at what we're wearing now. If it wasn't for the spinning jenny, we would
absolutely.
just
Yeah,
have one
yeah,
set of clothes because they were
yeah.
so expensive. Now
Oh, yeah.
they're dirt cheap
Mm,
because the fabrics can be made so quickly, not
that's right. Yeah.
touched by human hand.
Mm,
And things like wristwatches.
mm,
I think it was Seiko were the
mm.
first people to make a wristwatch totally by machine, but
Yes.
that was untouched by human hands in
Mm,
1965.
mm.
As far
I do.
long ago as
Yeah.
that. So they
Mm,
put all the parts in, and out will come a wristwatch, and that brought the
that's
price of
right. Yeah.
wristwatches down.
Yeah.
And now I think that people like Casio, they can churn them out,
Mm,
well,
mm,
by pennies. You mean they're almost giving them to you,
mm.
whereas they were
Yeah.
very expensive.
Mm.
Um, I think that there is a lot of fear about AI,
Well,
but
there's
it's
about
like,
anything new that comes in. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Mm.
but do you think though that I mean, it's a double edged sword. It depends who is got the master key. That is the
Oh,
problem.
yeah, to some degree, but with how things are developing alongside it with social media and things of that sort, it may be that the pauper gets the key rather than the person at the top of the tree. So I think it's a great gamble, a good one too, in our favour.
Really, the only
Mm.
trouble, I mean, I noticed. I don't know whether it was doom and gloom. I saw a video today, it was sort of on a feed, that said that China is churning out loads and loads of robots that will be police.
Mm.
So you'll be
Well,
walking
yeah,
along the
everybody's,
road and you get
mm,
robot police coming along that will sort of fine you for, I don't know,
yeah.
looking at them a bit funny or whatever. I
Mm.
don't know. Uh,
Everybody's doing that. All sections of development in developed
mm,
society are looking towards control robotically because they have a feeling that if there is some sort of war or blight or something of that sort, that the robots can be their army, if you like. Disillusion, but nevertheless, I think that's what they're thinking towards.
I see. The thing is, I reckon that we won't
You
be
don't like that, do
driving.
you?
I don't know. It's
Not keen
well,
on that one.
it's a double-edged sword. We don't know which way it's
Yeah.
going to go. I mean, Stephen Truthseeker. I don't know whether this is sarcastic or not. He says, "Is your guest for the microchipped population?"
I don't know. I doubt it. I think the human brain is much brighter than the microchip because a human has to tell the microchip what to do.
Yes, yes, I suppose so. But I mean, it used to say a computer is only good as the programmer.
That's right, exactly. Yes, you've got the point, exactly.
And Contact Time says, yes, he likes. Sorry, I got my chips without it today. So there we go. So
Yeah,
there it is. But
yeah.
expanding more. Oh, I like what DJB2 has said. The prototype for the Chinese robot is currently residing in number 10. Yes, I think. But yes, the big problem, as I say, is a bit like anything that comes out. There's a negative and there's a positive. And Tim Pot
Absolutely.
dictators, I
Yeah.
think, can turn
Yeah.
AI into something awful,
Mm, mm.
yet it can be for
It's the
something good.
subject of morality. The morality that
Yes.
you want is that which you choose. So if you choose it for good, that's fine. A bit like an electric plug. If you plug it in and screw it round your hand and touch it with some water, give you a terrible shock. But if you want the lights to come on, use it the other way and it'll illuminate you.
Yes. Yes, I can say. Do you, I mean, I'm not going to get political or anything like that. I don't believe in government. But I actually think that if people became more responsible, we wouldn't have government. That is the problem. And the problem with anything is that it gets exploited and corrupted. And it seems to be something in the human psyche that, or maybe it's not the human psyche. If we move on to demons, I mean, do you believe in demons?
No, I believe it's the programming that starts from the moment we go to school. I think that we take away people's freedom by making them uniform, telling them what we want them to do, making certain things acceptable and other things not acceptable. And I
Spot
think
on.
that that's the difficult situation in the development of the human mind.
I can guess that you probably were similar to me. Didn't like school or didn't get on at
Oh, I
school.
liked it, but I didn't like the way that it was arranged.
Well, sit up straight. We're going to pump
Mm,
2 hours of English into you, and then you sit up straight, and you're going to pump 2 hours of mathematics into you. My brain
absolutely, yes.
doesn't work like that. And there was a
No, no.
teacher during World War II that had a load of evacuee children in her
Mm,
classroom.
mm.
And in the summer, she took them out into the fields, and she said they were far more attentive.
Oh,
And
I
they did
bet, yes.
mathematics,
Mm,
in the fields,
yes.
like, how many trees here,
Mm,
and we sub those trees or whatever. I'm just making that up, but
yeah.
and
Mm,
and I think that we lived amongst the trees.
yes.
We lived
Mhm.
with nature for thousands of
Mm,
years,
mm.
and
Well, this
living in
British Isles was it was rainforest, wasn't it? So
that's
that's
right.
quite feasible.
Well, that's right. The days of Robin Hood, whether he existed or not, it was a
Mm.
huge, great forest, wasn't it?
Oh yes,
Um,
indeed. Yeah.
now, now what we got here? Uh, Enviro says, with robot police, does that mean that Johnny number 5 could turn up at my door one day? I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I can't answer that one. Uh, now, um, yeah, it says, my buds would pee on a robot dog, short circuit the mechanism. Beast. Yes. But believe I've seen something where somebody become demonically possessed. I believe
Oh
I've
yes,
witnessed that,
yes, yes.
where they are two personalities and they're flipping backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards all the
Yep.
time.
Mm,
Um, and I know that people have said that there was a chap that died on the operating table, and as he went up through he felt himself going up. He looked down on a public house, and there was a line of demons waiting, queuing up, waiting for people to get drunk. And then suddenly,
mm,
phoom, he came back into his body.
mm.
And I think that with demons, I think they get into people when they least, possibly when they least expect it. And I think they
Mm,
probably get into people
mm.
who are in power, because you
Yeah.
notice a lot of people that get into power, they start off okay, and then suddenly they go haywire.
Yes, that's probably true. I think if you make your energy low enough, and you base it around just the material side of life, then you lay yourself open to that kind of situation because you then don't consider the humanity of brotherhood and sisterhood anymore, but you're focusing on one thing. And while you're doing that, you're distracting the mind and laying yourself open to all sorts of forces. You don't have to be good to die. So, good, bad, and indifferent people perhaps are around on the astral plane, and in the way that you suggested, they'll jump in at the quickest opportunity.
With our loved ones, I've been told that our loved ones pass on and go onto a different realm after several weeks and things like that.
Hmm.
But I've often sensed someone that's passed over next to me and things like that.
Oh, that's nice. Yes,
And
yes.
I often wonder whether they're on they are maybe on a parallel universe, and they sort of, don't know, things link up occasionally. I don't know.
I think you're
It's been,
there. Yeah, I think that's good thinking. Yes.
there's
Mm,
something in that. And what
mm,
gets me is that the new religion that I don't like is the science
mm.
religion, because
Oh, yes.
science doesn't have an answer for everything. And I think there's two
Oh, no,
types of
no.
science: real
Mm.
science and financial science. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, financial science is taking over. I'll pay you so much
absolutely.
money to
Yeah,
prove this and prove that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when you think about it, if you go back, say, 200 years, and you'd say to people that signals can pass through air or
Mm,
space, they'd
mm,
laugh at you and think
mm.
that you was possessed or something. They'd say you're a
Oh, yes,
nutcase.
indeed. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look at what we've got. You're up in Llandudno and I'm down in
Mm.
Hertfordshire, yet we're talking
Yes.
here, which 200 years ago they would have probably thought it was witchcraft or something
Oh,
weird.
absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, same
So,
when television came in. People were afraid of it, and they
mm,
thought it was something that was demonic and would cause us all sorts of problems.
I've actually some people have sort of, I've talked to this to some people about making a Tesla machine that can
Yeah.
supposedly talk to those that have passed over. I've not
Mm.
done it because I'd be dabbling in something I don't know, and
Yes.
I think it's
Yes.
dangerous. I think it's very
Mm.
dangerous to do.
Mm.
What
Mm.
is your thoughts on things like what Tesla
Well, again,
is up to?
we're back to AI again because there is such equipment now, and there's an app that's come out that you can talk with the person that they've created from their films and from their
Mhm.
input on the internet, and you can actually talk with them and ask them questions, and they'll talk back to you. Of course, it's not really the person, but it is a makeup of the person, and it's interesting, I think, that if they get that to the next stage, then you might be able to um, stop the time barrier, because I think time doesn't exist. I think it's just one particular point. And
Mm.
I see no reason why talking to them in that way shouldn't eventually invoke the fact that you actually talk on the other, in reality as we see it now.
Well, there's, it's interesting what you're saying about time.
Hmm.
Do you think it's speeding up? Because I feel it is. I know as you get older, it speeds up,
Yeah,
but
it seems to, doesn't it? Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. It's a strange thing with time.
Mhm.
But there's also a story that I've said many times on this show, and I'm going to bore everybody. But it's time for people to make a cup of tea because I'm going to tell it again. I'll be very very quick. When my sister started work, this was in the 1960s. I've got a much older sister. There was a girl of German origin who was sitting down one lunchtime going through papers, and then she told my sister a most incredible story. And during World War II, she was a little girl, and remember this was in the 60s,
Mhm.
and in Berlin, and her mother asked her to do an errand for her, and they could hear sort of gunfire in the distance with the Russians, but they were a very long way away, so they thought. And she went off to do this errand, and then suddenly there was a massive bombardment. The Russians had made a breakthrough. And when
Mm.
she got back to her house, all there was just rubble.
Mm,
And just
goodness.
by sheer luck, there was a retreating German army. They took her under her wing, and they said, "Look, they knew what the Russians would do to the women." And by some way, she managed to get to, I think, this German army. They were going to surrender to the Americans, but they surrendered to the British. And she ended up in an orphanage in Surrey somewhere. And she, she went, she quickly left this orphanage, and then she lived in a flat in London. And she always wanted to go to South America. There was something about,
Right.
I think it was
Mm.
Argentina. I can't remember now. She
Yes.
always wanted to go. She had this, and it was overwhelming. And she saved up all her money and went there. And when she got there, she was in a hotel and she's looking out, and she got really depressed. She thought, why have I spent all this money to come here for? Why? Doesn't seem logical. And she went outside, and they had these beautiful fish ponds and seats and that. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
sat down in a
Mm.
seat, and she was just depressed. And a woman came and sat next to her. It was her mother.
Oh, how interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Fascinating.
girl
Mm.
was going through papers to get her mother to Britain.
Yes.
Now that's
Mm.
absolutely amazing. 1,000,000 to 1. I mean, you think about
Absolutely.
it.
Yes.
That
Yep.
that bond.
Mm. Mm.
And they reckon that I don't know if you've ever seen the book Supernature that came out in the 70s,
Right. Mm. Mm.
where the Russians did an experiment, or the Soviets as it was in those days. And this
Yes.
is really very, very cruel.
Mm.
A rabbit gave birth, and they took the young away, and they measured its heart or whatever beat, and they killed one of the young, I think in a summer or somewhere a long way away, and the mother knew
Mm.
by this
Mm.
sort of jolt with a heartbeat. That's really
Yes.
strange.
Yes. It's a bit
But
like twins, isn't it, when they respond to
mm,
each other? Mm. Interesting.
yes, and it's fascinating. Now remember, any
Mm.
questions in chat, please fire away. But coincidences fascinate me. Always
Yes.
have done. Do you
Mm.
deal with time slips? Because you're not that far from is it the Liverpool time slip?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
There's a very famous one. Have you ever come across time slips at all with
Mm.
people when
No,
they've
not
slipped
really.
in time?
No. Oh, yes, yeah. People been on the motorway and then suddenly been another 3 or 4 miles in front of
Hmm.
themselves. Yeah, it's fascinating phenomena. Yeah.
Yes. I just wonder if you're friends with that. I can never remember his name. Reverend, is it Fanthorpe? The chap that did the Fortean Times.
Oh, I
Reverend.
remember the 14 times. Yeah. Mm.
And
Mm.
there's a lot in there, which is quite
Yes.
fantastic.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Mm.
Now, when we, is there any advice you can give to, you said about relaxing and things like that?
Yes.
Um, Now, what's your view of seances and things like that? I mean, there was a lot of fraudsters in seances, but
Yeah,
that's
properly
died out now.
conducted, seances can be very, very interesting. But as you say, there's a lot of people who'd like to believe it. And unfortunately, there are those who sit in seances who will try to create the situation because they want it so badly within themselves. But that's not to take away the credibility of the energy. If you combine several auras together from several different people, you can really get direct voice sometimes. And those are the sciences that really are fascinating. There's a chap in Scotland on the Isle of Bute, and he's called Bill McCaffrey, and he studied with a professor at Edinburgh University, Professor Roy, and he's a wonderful person for what he calls facial moldings. He goes into a trance and he has a seance with other people, and you can actually see the mouldings over his face of people who are gone. And the sitters will sit, recognize them, and sometimes even talk to them. So I've got a soft spot for that sort of seance.
Hmm. That's interesting. What's your view, somebody asked earlier, of Alistair Crowley, who...
A fascinating mountaineer, a wonderful man, a doppelganger at one point for Sir Winston Churchill during the war, and a magician who was mischievous, but who
Mhm,
certainly has had got a great deal of ability. They won't
mm,
allow a blue plaque to be put upon his house at Clarendon Place in Leamington Spa because they don't approve of the situation of his life, but otherwise he would have had a crack. He bought that wonderful house at
mm,
the edge of the lake in Scotland,
mhm.
and Boleskine House, and of course Jimmy Page, the great
That's right.
guitarist, had it afterwards. And in there it says tribute to Aleister Crowley, who is a great mountaineer and British eccentric. So he's anything between a British eccentric and an adept magician.
That's interesting. That's fascinating. Now, Baby with a Laser's come through, the good one,
Mhm.
and she said, John, do you ever visit old ancient places and try to tune into any lingering spirits?
No, I do visit them. I like them, but I don't go with any sort of agenda in mind.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can get a lovely feeling from them. Sometimes you can see things there, but it's important in any form of divining to go with an open mind and to experience whatever you're experiencing and let it bring you whatever's there.
That's very, very good. Yes. We've got 63 baggies. Good evening, one and all. So there we go. Um, Also, what is your sort of because I mean it's like, again, it's like witchcraft. People look at witchcraft. There's the good and there's the bad, and there's
Mm,
two very, very different. They're miles apart. And
mm,
most of the women that were accused of witchcraft were healers,
mm, mm.
and that's the trouble. Now, Paul Stubbs has come up with a good one. Oh, hang on a minute. First of all, you said about uh, Boleskin Howell has
Mm.
been burnt down.
Yes, that's
Yes,
true. Yeah. Mm,
yes.
mm.
Now, Paul Stubbs has said, has John any experience with past life regression?
No, I know of people that have find it fascinating, but no. You would need perhaps a good adept hypnotist who would be the best person to talk to about that.
Yes. I know 63 Vegas. It's Robert. Hello, Robert. Nice to see you, mate. Long time no hear. Great. Um, but do you find that can you get things like from overseas? Can you get sort of things coming in from this? This is the thing. Do you ever get something with a foreign language coming through to
Oh
you?
yeah,
What on
I've
earth's
had
that?
people speaking in foreign language and speaking in peculiar tongue as well, but tongue that
Mm,
fits together. We spoke before about Professor, um, the gentleman who does the voice
mm.
healing. And he often gets people through who talk. He reckons it's an angelic language, and they talk all sorts of tongues through him, almost like speaking in tongues.
Well, I've had a experience, and again,
Hmm.
it's time to make tea, people, because you probably heard it before. I've said this before. I actually heard what I strongly believe was fairy music.
Oh yes. Mhm.
And this happened between Christmas and New Year many years back. And this was up
Yes.
near Royston. And
Right. I
I was
know. Yeah.
driving from, I don't know if you know the area at all, Royston in Hertfordshire,
Mhm. Yeah.
but I was up near Cambridge and there's lots of little lanes around there. I can't, Ashwell, that's where it was, where I was driving from,
Yes.
Ashwell.
Mhm.
And it's a beautiful, clear, moonlit night. So you could almost drive along without your lights on your car. I wouldn't advise it though, because you could see across everywhere and the stars were twinkling, and there's no one on the road. And I was driving along. I could hear this fantastic music. It's like woodwind.
Mm.
And I thought, is it the wind coming through the glass on the door or something? So I pressed no, doors, the window's done up. It's kind to get to me. I thought there must be some do going on over, but there's hardly any houses around there. A few little
Mm.
lights in the distance. That's about it. So
Yep.
eventually I stopped the car, switched the engine off, and walked away from the car, and I could still hear it. And I thought, but if I'd have had a tape recorder, it wouldn't have picked it up.
No. What a
It
lovely
was sort of inside
experience.
you. Yeah, and,
Mm.
and I thought, I've never heard such beautiful music. It's all right, very folky type music.
Yeah, yeah.
And then directly I saw the lights of the A414, it stopped.
Yes, yes.
And I
Certainly
reversed and
sounds.
it wouldn't switch on.
No. Sounds angelic.
It's weird. Do you know anybody
Yeah.
else that's had an experience like that? Because it was many
No,
years ago, but I'm
no.
sure it is fairy music.
I don't know about the music, but I know a gentleman who is a tailor in Birmingham, and he had two lights following his car for about 12 miles. And like you, he then approached a major road and the lights disappeared.
Yeah. But it's amazing. It's just switched off like that. And when I
Yeah.
reversed, it didn't switch on again.
No,
It's just
no,
gone.
that's
Must have been
fascinating.
with me.
No,
Now,
definitely.
now the thing is that what's this? Jollyman says, if he understood the nature of reality and knew the truth, he would connect the dots and would be more informed. Sorry, mate. Can you explain a bit better? If who explain the nature of it? Don't know. Sorry, can you work that one out, John?
Yeah, you might mean that if we put the information that we're gleaning together, we might be able to explore the meaning of life.
Hmm. Well, according to was it the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the meaning of life is 42, isn't it? If you
Well,
remember
so they
that.
say, yeah.
That's right. Yes, 42. They found a
Mm,
computer to work out the meaning of life, and it came up with
mm,
42. Then you got to work out the question. Yeah,
mm,
but no, but really, this thing with fairies, there
mhm,
was a famous during the Battle of Britain. There was, I'm not sure he's here, a fighter command chap. I can't think of his name now. He believed that fairies exist, and he started a
mhm,
society for it. And he was a bit of an embarrassment to the RAF, and he believed in life after death and things like this.
mhm,
And he was not the type of person to be head of fighter command. When you
no,
looked,
no,
if you saw a CV of him, you think,
mm.
what? And what was his name? Dowding, Hugh Dowding.
Oh, yes, I know, yes. Yeah.
Just wonder if you knew any more about what he
Yeah,
started about this.
he wrote some fascinating books. I think that people who get that close to death in wartime conditions and in military conditions learn an awful lot about life and death. You know, when they hear people by the side of
Yes.
them are dying and they call for their mother, or they get to a point where they
Hmm.
see somebody and obviously are experiencing an ecstatic feeling, they learn an awful lot about death firsthand.
Yes, I imagine they do. Well, my father
Mm,
did when he was on the battlefield. I
mm,
mean,
yes.
he said people were just blown up. Um, Now, the Jollyman said, moon isn't visible on Earth anywhere for 2 full days during a new moon. I didn't know that.
Right. Mhm.
Where did she go? 40 hours, no moon. Weird. Yeah. Um, now, if I'm very unhappy, I can smell my grandmother. It's a
Oh,
comfort to me.
yeah, good, good. Yeah.
And we got a comedian in it. Yes, Elton John certainly likes fairies. Yes, I think he does. Yes, but my sister and brother-in-law, they moved into a house now, and it was a bungalow that was built in the 1920s,
Right.
and I a couple moved into it when it was new, and they lived there all their lives until they passed over, and then another family moved there for a matter of about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
They moved, and then my brother-in-law and sister. went there, and they could smell cakes cooking, old-fashioned cakes,
Oh,
and and sometimes the smell of tobacco, an
yes.
old-style
Mm,
tobacco.
mm, mm. Yeah, people will often bring a smell to remind us of something, and often they're trying to maybe remind their relatives that it's them. They don't voice it in a verbal sense, but very
Mm.
often will bring a smell that reminds us, and then of course we know it's them.
Yes, because we all got our different odours and things that we
Oh,
subtly sort of pick
absolutely,
up.
yes,
Because
yes.
what interests me is our subconscious and
Mm,
how our subconscious. I mean, like the subliminal strip, when
yes.
they put one frame of say a hot dog in a film, and people got up and went and bought a hot dog, and they didn't know the reason why. That was in the
Oh, yes.
1950s. They say
Used
it's
very
banned.
strongly. Mm,
Yes. Now, Baby with a Laser said, I had an experience in woodlands near Willicombe, Devon,
yes, yeah,
once
I know
that I
that.
put down to a FAE, Fae? To the FAE. I don't know quite what that is. Have you heard it?
Sounds like
Fae?
fairy.
To the fairy? Yes.
I've heard that
Um,
expression used in fairy terms, yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because there have been pictures of fairies, though, haven't there? That are not,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Mm,
I think it was John Hamer, a friend of his, was just innocently filming away, and then suddenly, when they sent it back, something flew across, and they freeze framed it, and it
mm,
was some. I've seen it,
mm.
some sort of being in that. And
Yeah,
it's very strange that the Irish talk about the little people.
indeed,
In
yes.
Iceland, it's
Mm,
still fairy folk. It's
hmm.
Baby with a Laser.
Yeah.
Um, isn't it strange that Iceland and Ireland are quite a long way
Mm,
away from each other?
yes.
They both have a similar belief in the little people and
Oh,
fairy
yes.
folk.
Yeah. Mm,
And in Wales, where you are, the emblem is the dragon. And in
yep.
England, where I am, and people are going, no, it isn't. Yes, it is. The emblem is the dragon as well.
Mm,
If it's the other way round, I
yes.
think in Wales, isn't it a red dragon on a white
A red
background?
dragon, yes. That's right,
Red
yes.
dragon on a white background, and
That's
ours, I
right,
think, is the
yeah.
other way around. The white dragon on
Yes.
a red background,
Mm.
and then they
Yours is St.
China.
George's dragon, isn't it?
That's right. And then
Yeah.
in China, what they got? Dragons. They talk about
Mm,
dragons in their mythology,
yeah.
and that is about as far
Yeah.
away as you can get. Isn't that
Yeah. I bet the
strange?
Chinese are the cheapest ones.
Yes. Yes. Now, what's this? Hatchie Hatchie says, any chance of getting Ebba Bernays, who wrote the book Propaganda, on the show? I've got bacon and eggs.
Mm.
Yes. Uh, Now, Exo says, when psychics hold of physical items for a reading on someone, does the information intensely of the object increase for the psychic, or it's an item that's been a long term held possession?
No, it's just a marker that marks one person out from another. You do 6 readings in a row, you're actually doing one long reading. But a tuner, such as a watch or a bunch of keys or something like that, just derivates one from the other. So it's like a tuning device, really.
That's interesting. Like a tuning fork, I suppose, or
Yeah,
whatever you're
yeah,
tuning into it.
mm,
And Exo went on to say, I think it's called psychometry.
yeah, that's right, yes. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
psychometry is the reading of objects coupled with the aura of a person, the statical electrical field around a person, known commonly as the aura.
There was a chappie in Cambridge, and I don't know what happened to him. And this was in the 70s and 80s,
Yes,
who said that his house was, I wouldn't say haunted, but he contacted somebody that had been bereaved, or somebody, sorry, that had died,
yeah,
and physical things kept sort of like he'd wake up in the morning and he'd find something in the middle of the hall.
yes. Mm.
and things started to appear to sort of materialize. Have you ever come across that at all?
Well,
Where
those are
things have
called
materialized?
apports. I've come across people who say that they've had that happen to them. I've never personally had it happen to me. I do have a very close relative who will pick something up and throw it on the floor. Not sort of just knock it off like you would if you
Hmm.
brushed it with your hand, but actually pick it up and let it land on the floor. And I think they do it just to draw attention that they're there, just to let you know we're here, we haven't gone anywhere.
There's also Alice Gorgeous that says, "Where will my middle child tidy her room?" I think she wants a prediction there.
Is this the one with the red hair, or the one that's going towards the artistic, creative, and musical side of things? If it's the creative and musical one, probably never, because their mind is a very strong potpourri of all kind of colours and mixtures. The other one, I think, will be quite different and really find that they're more of the academic side of things. But very interesting combination.
That Now, Ali, I'm waiting for Alice Gorgeous to come back. That is incredible. I'm just waiting to see if she comes back. Middle child. So she's got two daughters.
The two she's referring to, yeah.
Yes. I don't know what hero. Yeah, I won't read the rest of his name out. Burn the Sage. Heard about that? Burning sage? I don't know what that's supposed to do, apart from making a funny smell in your house.
Well, no, sage is for clearing things. It's for making clearance of negative energy. White American sage. Of course, he might
Yeah.
mean burn me as the sage. You never know.
Now, that's interesting. There it says, can you ask if your guest has heard of oh, yes, the skull experiments by a group in Norfolk? Yes, I've heard of them. Have you heard of that?
No, sounds interesting. No, I haven't. No.
They did, it was like a scientific experiment, and it was
Right.
in
Mhm.
Norfolk. You can see a lot
Yeah.
about it on YouTube. The trouble with YouTube, you get a lot of, I can explain, you get one good one, and you get about umpteen waffly
Oh,
ones,
yeah. Yeah.
a
Mm,
lot of
mm,
waffle. Uh, hang on. She's come back. No, dark hair in fashion college.
mm, mm.
So uh, there we are. So we got one in fashion college there. Now with the skull experiment, it's very very interesting, and I think so. I don't know. I think it was in the 80s, was it 90s? They did it,
Right.
where they
Mm.
got modern recording equipment. And Exo says it's an astonishing case.
Oh, right.
Yes, and they virtually proved that there is spirits and things like that.
Mm, mm.
Um, uh, and Alice Gorgeous come back again and said, not musical, artistic though.
Oh, they go towards the music. Don't worry. They're being guided by a child that was lost in the past, I think, somewhere around the family, probably conceived but not born. And I think that's where they're getting the creative inspiration from. I see that being really good.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now that's it. Because another interesting, my parents, my family were musical, apart from me. It
Oh,
never
yes.
never rubbed off on me. I mean, I might be
Yeah.
able to play the comb and paper badly,
No,
tap
yeah.
out a rhythm on like that. But my mother played the piano and the organ, and my dad did as well, piano, accordion, and all that. It
Oh,
never rubbed off. But
no.
between you and I can't stand electronic organs.
Yeah.
Exo, so it was in the 90s. It
Mm, mm.
was, and it's worth looking up. It is fantastic. It really is.
Oh, excellent.
And it was like a scientific experiment and that.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I I never saw it myself, but I was told that Ouija boards were sold in toy shops at one time,
Mm, mm.
and uh, I think they're exceptionally dangerous because you can invite in things that you shouldn't invite in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm pleased they're banned in toy
Mm,
shops
mm,
now. Uh,
mm,
Now, Alice Gorgeous has come back. She said, "My father was an artist, and so am I."
mm. Great. Mm.
And so was Oliver Reed, but not, shall we say, of the painting variety.
Yes.
I think daffodils are hiccuping on his over his grave, aren't they now? And
Yeah, what a
but
character. Well, yeah, what a character.
he certainly was, wasn't he?
Yep.
Quite an actor, an amazing
Oh, yes,
actor. He
definitely.
really
Yes.
was. If he
Yes.
was sober, but probably
Mm,
that's. I mean, some of the films he was in.
mm,
But I still think the greatest actor was Ronnie Barker, because every part he
yes.
played, he was that part. It wasn't Ronnie
Indeed. Yes.
Barker.
Yes. There's people with that rare talent of being
Oh
able to
yes.
do that. That's marvelous. Yeah.
And there's people that haven't got the rare talent, and I can say this
Yeah.
now, rare talent. That was Sir John Gielgud, probably the world's worst actor. I'm an actor, and he was Sir John Gielgud
Yeah.
in everything he did. You know, sort of act the part of, I don't know, Adolf Hitler. I'm Adolf Hitler. Let's go invade Poland. Will you do that? You know, everything. And I think, and was it? Oh, and Sid James, Eric. Oh yes, Sid James.
Mm.
There is, I think, the theatre where he died is haunted, isn't it?
I
Because
don't know. Very, very
um,
good actor and somebody with a lot of versatile talent, really.
yes, because he could do serious acting as well, and
Oh,
he's
yes,
very
it
good.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think it was what's that chap now? I can't think of his name now. Well, a comedian, Les
Hmm.
Dawson.
Oh,
Les
yes.
Dawson played in the place. He was in the dressing room and that.
Mm.
Several years after Sid James had passed,
Yes.
and he came out as white as a sheet and said he'd never play that place again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what happened?
Well, Les
Whether it's a
Dawson,
wives' tale,
yeah, he was a very, very genuine man. Very
yes,
nice man, Les Dawson. I always think that he was the down to earth comedian who made it good and made the big time. Very talented, and I liked him very much.
comedians to me are healers if they're good
Yes,
comedians,
they are. Yes,
because we need laughter. We need a lot of laughter,
absolutely.
and I
Yes,
think that
yes.
what we do need is people, when you get these politicians
Mm,
standing on their rostrum saying, oh, "I'm going to do this," and that, laugh,
mm. Oh,
just
yeah.
laugh at them.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
spontaneous comedian is interesting too. For
Yes,
example, when Tommy Cooper would appear from around the curtain, he'd only appear and everyone would laugh. I mean, it's just
yes.
spontaneous laughter. And I thought that was really a gift, a real
Oh, yes.
spiritual gift.
Well, one of the Marx brothers, what's his name? Groucho Marx.
Yes.
Now, I've been sometimes a bit fed up. You can actually see on YouTube television programs is in the mid 50s.
Mm.
What quick wit!
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
It,
spontaneous.
it's
Yeah.
just, and
Mm.
he had a way of reading people. And that
Mm.
is, if
Oh, yeah.
someone came on and they're a bit nervous, he put them at
Yeah.
ease.
Mm. You want to be a good
And he had
comedian,
his
you have to
way.
read the audience. Yeah.
What my three uncles often said,
Mm.
because I had three uncles that were comedians.
Yes.
And
Mm.
now, where are we? We had oh yes, here we are. We got Alice Gorgeous says, "Can loved ones who have passed over come to us in bird form?" That's an
Well,
interesting one.
that's interesting because there's a lot of superstition about birds.
Hmm.
The Romans, of course, used to think that if a bird came in the house, there was going to be somebody carried to the other side, and the bird was coming as a messenger to do that. Um,
Really?
yeah, I don't see why not. A lot of people, even people who are giving comfort in people who are undertakers and so on, will talk about people appearing as a robin or coming into the garden as a bird. So I'd say, from observation, yes, I would say probably feasible.
Alice, I see robins. Yes, they
Mm,
do. And well, they say robin redbreast. They're not. They're orange. And the reason
yes.
why is when they named the bird, I don't think there's a word for orange.
Ah, yeah,
No, serious. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
a bit like red squirrels. They're sort of
Mm,
orange, really. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Now, Alice Gorgeous says, my grandfather was a gunner in the First World War. He was an
Yes.
actor and comedian. And you know,
Mm.
some of the greatest comedians are undertakers
Oh,
because
yes.
they gotta have that. And when you think of it, the best
Mm.
comedians came from war. Look at Spike Milligan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Apart from one, my uncles
Mm.
went through the war.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they're all passed on now. Uh, oh no! Oh, here it comes! Here it comes! I see blue tits. Do you really? It has been cold recently. Be quiet, Eric. Okay, I haven't made a joke of it, but no, actually, when my parents passed over, I kept seeing a robin. It's my father passed over. I
Mm.
kept seeing this
Mm.
robin come along,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
uh, now Matilda said, "AI is worse than a lying politician, in my opinion."
It's probably made up of a few, actually. If you
Well,
program
that's
them in.
that's right. Well, you
Mm.
think about it. We've got this marvelous idea of computers,
Mm.
and then Microsoft comes along with the software and screws it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't like
Mm.
Microsoft.
Mm.
Sorry. I use it. I'm a bit like the
Mm.
Punch and Judy man that hated kids. There's
Mm.
something about Microsoft that's got this attitude. It backs up when it feels it has to, wants to. It's
Yes.
backing up. Whereas with Linux, it doesn't do that. It says, "Do you mind if I back up now?"
Mm.
You're in control. But
Yeah.
Microsoft's got this sort of snotty Bill Gates attitude. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
But really, with birds, I actually think that they do convey things. They do sort of spin
Yes.
message.
Mm.
And I'll tell you a little something again. People think I'm bonkers.
Mm.
I feed the birds every day, apart from
Good.
today.
Mm.
Sorry, fellas. I thought if any birds are watching in, but no, I'm joking. And I go to a small shed. I get a box out or a tin out, and I put the old bird food onto
Yeah.
the bird stand and that. And a couple of years ago, a pigeon. It's mainly pigeons that lay in there, and people don't like pigeons. I do. And
Mm.
a pigeon put up this most beautiful twig, came very close to me, put it on the floor, and backed off.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then I think it was either last year or the year before, one came to the step, my kitchen step, and placed a beautiful twig on the step and backed off. And that, I
Mm.
think, is thank you
Mm.
for the food
Yeah.
that I give them.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I was
Mm.
really choked. It
Mm.
really choked
Mm.
me up. I thought, isn't that marvellous? But
Yes.
I've actually had a robin on my hand singing
Oh,
because
nice. Yeah.
the males, because you can't,
Mm.
it's very difficult to tell the difference between the males and the females, isn't it, with robins? They
Mm.
can't do
Mm.
that. And
Yeah.
males and the females do sing.
Mm. Mm.
But this country, I
Mm.
think, apart from Europe, is the only country in Europe where the robins are tamer than the rest of Europe. Because
Yes. And they stay in winter too, don't they?
yes, yes.
Mm. Mm.
Um, now we got the jolly man. He says Einstein's exotic matter, negative matter, dark matter, Rosenbridge wormhole time, and fabric of reality became one, so no one can tell it's all bullshit. Well, I think Einstein believed there's wormholes or something where you can go through time. I think that's what he might
Mm.
think. And there's
Yeah.
dark matter.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
mean, I don't know whether you can go
No,
through
I
time.
have a theory about bullshit because, with a housing crisis at the moment,
Yes.
and I don't know why we don't use excrement that comes from people or animals or whatever. We have the process to do it to make
Hmm.
bricks. We could make extremely cheap bricks of that stuff, and it would solve an awful lot of problems and be totally sanitized and build us houses very quickly.
Well, that's what Watland. It's right. My background's architecture. That's what Watland Daub was, wasn't it? Animal
Yeah,
dung mixed
indeed.
with
Yeah,
mud,
yeah,
and they used to put
yeah,
horsehair in, and that's where they got
yeah.
quite a bit of livestock coming in. But nowadays,
Oh,
of
yes.
course, they would
Mm.
sterilise it. But
Yeah.
then, it'd be off the horse with all the fleas and bugs and you name it, and it'd be
Mm.
splat.
Mm.
Because with Watland Daub, you actually throw the mud onto
Mm.
the daub, uh,
Yeah.
or daub it rather. But
Mm.
yes, I mean you can. I never forget when I first started college, the lecturer said, "What is the most common building material in the world?" We said, "Cement." He said, "No, mud."
Yes.
More
Mm.
houses, even in Devon, the houses of
Yeah.
the older houses have got
Oh, yes.
mud walls,
Yeah.
and of course in African countries
Mm.
and
Mm.
South America, a lot of houses
Yeah.
are made of mud.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm.
Uh, uh, Now what we got here? Oh, here it comes. It would be a brick shithouse. Thank you. Yes, because I said the other week. You said they used to call me. I used to design. I always got lauded designing lavatories. You see, so they called me
Yeah.
Crap House Chris. I was Crap
Have you
House Chris.
ever been to Liverpool?
No.
Well, in
Well, I've been on
Liverpool,
the outskirts of Liverpool,
yeah,
but I've never
there's a
been to
taxi
Liverpool itself.
firm that have got their office in what used to be an old gents' toilet. It's brick built and
Yeah.
everything, and they've just taken the wall out inside, and it's their taxi base. And of course, locally, everybody calls it shithouse cabs. So,
Well, in Stamford Hope, you know those
yeah.
sort of it converted a lavatory into some offices, small offices,
Oh,
and it
right.
still
Yeah.
got and it still looks like a lavatory. You see people going in there just sort of just about bloody hell, it's an office. But
Oh dear.
yes, I mean the thing is, what you're saying about architecture, they have for years. I mean, in the '60s, they tried to do
Yeah.
uh, prefabricated houses, and they do that in Germany,
Yes. Yes.
where they're built in a factory and
Mm.
they can build
Mm.
the house in about 2
Mm.
days. You put the
Yes,
foundation
indeed.
in, and once
Mm.
the foundation, it takes 28 days to go off, and up it goes,
Mm.
unless you have
Yeah.
fast curing cement.
Mm.
But
Mm.
the building industry, I was told that um, is always in the wings of politics. You don't see them, but they're
Oh,
just in
yeah.
the wings.
Definitely, yes. Mm.
And I was
Yeah.
told, if you're into, there are two political, this was when I started college, it's different now, two political parties, the road builders and the house
Mm.
builders. And if you're in house
Yes.
building, you vote for the house builders. And if you're in road building, you you vote for the road builders.
Yes,
Because
indeed. Yeah.
they're you've only, well, look at Marple's road construction. They
Oh,
built the
yes. Yeah.
M1
Yeah.
and things like that.
Mm.
But
Mm.
I think that in many ways it's driven by the building industry,
Yeah.
because I mean, when you look at these stacker block houses and things like that, but I've often thought that with housing, they started underground houses, but the trouble is, to dig underground costs a lot of money, and that's the reason.
Yes. Yes.
But you would see look like fields, and there's people living there.
Mm.
And there's a lot
Mm.
to be said about underground. It sounds a bit weird, but they're
Yes.
not all dark and not like living in a
Mm.
cave. They're quite light
No.
inside,
No. No.
Uh,
Mm.
um, Now, you probably know this shop. There's a fireplace shop in Anglesey called Warmer Brothers Limited. Laugh out
Oh, right.
loud.
Mm-hmm.
Warmer
Mm.
Brothers, yeah. But the best one I've seen is a fish and chip shop in Bristol called Cod Almighty.
Ah, yes.
And there's one unfortunate. You've probably seen it when you've been to London.
Mm.
Ready mix firm called Dribble Mix It.
Ah, yes.
I think it's changed. Might have changed the name now.
Mm.
But
Brilliant. Yeah.
when you was
Mm.
on LBC, though, I mean, the
Mm.
first time
Mm.
you actually went on live on air, I mean, in those days, it
Yeah.
must have been quite
Yeah.
something. I mean,
Mm.
was it? I mean, they had a big studio full of people, and who would have dreamt that we could actually speak? Anybody can speak on air now, where in those
Yes.
days it wasn't so much. But
No. No.
and did that? I mean, I wonder if they had any technical breakdowns going on in the background that people didn't know about. So, oh, hang on, we haven't pressed this up and things like that, But
Occasionally that would happen, but they were very good at it. And I mean, Clive Ball's a very
mm,
calming influence anyway. So it was a very nice to work with him.
yes, I seem to recollect his voice. He's still around. I don't know what he's doing
Mm.
now.
He's at night. He still does LBC at night now. You can pick
Yeah,
him up, I think, at between 1 and 4 in the night
really.
time. Mm.
Oh, the early
Yeah.
morning. Yes. Now
Yeah. Yeah.
the Jollyman. What's going on with the bees? Yes,
Mm.
they the mass to weight ratio and wings prove they cannot fly, but
Mm.
do
Mm.
harmonic resonance. Bees are
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Yeah. They
that
got.
is That is, but do you ever come across psychic pets? No, I'm not joking.
Yeah, yeah, I
Dogs
did.
and cats are
Yeah,
very psychic.
yep. I did the Psychic Pet Show for a while on live
Really?
TV. Yeah, on live TV. Yes, we did about 12 or 13 episodes, and I got into a cage with a black panther at a zoo in Tamworth, and
You're
we calmed him
brave.
down. Mm.
You're very brave.
He was he'd been trained at the circus
Hmm.
and trained to the whip, and he was getting very, very agitated being in the cage that he was in. And I noticed that if I put my arms out and waved them up and down, he would calm down. So Zig, his name was, and we went very close to him, and he did calm down. And we had it was on my classicals program, Strange but True,
Oh,
one of
strange but
the
true. I used to
episodes.
like that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
great. But I
mm,
tell you, I'll try not to be expressionless with this.
mm.
What is your view of most haunted? I'll try to be
Um,
expressionless.
I don't know really. I didn't really study it, to be honest. Um, I think it was. Mm, I would have thought uh, very entertaining.
I think you've been very political there, but you've been very careful there what you said. Yes, I think it because I knew somebody that I wouldn't call him a professional ghost hunter, but he used to go out with his friends with all the equipment and
Yeah.
everything. And he said 9 times out of 10, nothing would happen. And he said, how can you do a television program and nothing would happen? But he went to one haunted place. It's up, Manchester way.
Mm,
Oh,
mm.
some of the things he told me about that.
Yes,
My
yes.
word,
Oh, there are haunted places, definitely. Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Mm, mm.
Um, Now, Baby with a Laser. John, is there anywhere in Llandudno or Llandudno where
Mhm.
you pick up on spirits regularly?
Yeah, the Great Orme. On the Great Orme, there's an area that many people believe. I think it was categorized as the third most likely place to see a UFO. And there's all sorts of spiritual influences around there. There's a road called Marine Drive. You get halfway round it, and there's water coming like a spring coming out of the it's out of the
Mm.
side of the rock and so on. And people go and touch the water on their forehead to get energized by it. So yeah, there's a monk's path up there where monks used to regularly walk to from the
Mm.
church to the top of the Orme, and that's very interesting.
Oh, fascinating. And
Mm.
also, with it's Llandudno. I think that's on a ley line, isn't it?
Yes,
Right? It is because there's energy and lays. I'm not sure.
yes,
I think that's energy line because energy lines waver, don't they? And ley
that's
lines are
right.
dead
Yes,
straight.
yeah.
Because the chap who
Well, it's
wrote,
like
sorry, it was Alfred Watkins, wasn't it? The old straight line.
yes,
Wrote it in 1920
mm,
something or other.
yeah,
Um,
mm,
but I mean, I think that is an energy line that Clan did know, isn't it? I
yes,
think.
it is. Yes, yeah. There is a ley line as well at the back, and that had several tithes on it. And they
Mhm.
reckon that those tithes were used to go down to what used to be the old harbour for smuggling in the old days.
Really?
Mm.
Wow.
There
So
are
they did
12.
smuggling in Wales
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well as
Oh,
Cornwall.
there were 12 wrecks. Well, there are 12 wrecks around the
Mm.
foot of the Great Orme, and they had all sorts of little boats they used to make there, and larger boats that landed there. Now only the seals are there, but it's very picturesque and very nice.
Oh yes, yeah, that's beautiful. And also, I mean, I went to see Michael Benteen once doing a talk,
Oh, yes.
and he
Hmm.
looked into spirituality a lot.
He did,
Because
yeah.
in Essex, there's a
Mm,
village that name escapes me. I know that Pluckley in Kent is supposed to be a very haunted village,
mm,
but there's one in Essex which is even more haunted.
mm.
And he witnessed a nun walking above the ground.
Yes.
And then
Mm,
he did his research and found out the path used to be that height. And he believed
mm.
that at certain situations, rocks and bricks and whatever are like recorders, they play back. and he believed it was
Yeah.
like a recorder
Yeah.
playing back. And it was quite
Yeah.
an interesting
Mm,
theory he had,
mm, mm,
But
mm.
now Alex Gordon says, "Is John from Liverpool?"
No, no. I originate from Wales. Lived in Wolverhampton for a long while. Then went to Covent Garden and came back to Wales.
I don't blame you because Covent
Mm.
Garden. I used to work in Covent Garden. Yes, very. In fact, the office I worked in was where Yogi Baird, no, not Boo Boo and
Oh
Yogi Bear,
yes, yeah, I
made
know.
the
Yeah,
first television broadcast.
right. Mm,
So I may have sat near where Yogi Bear made
mm,
his first television broadcast. So there
mm.
we go.
Well done.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So now, Baby with the Laser said, "Marine Drive, is that the toll road that goes round the
Yes, it is.
Orme?"
That's right. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
And when she went on to say, Baby the Laser went on to say, Lewis Carroll lived on
Yes.
there.
That's right, he did, yes. And he wrote Alice in Wonderland, or part of it anyway, at the hall at the other end of Marine Drive. Regrettably, the council pulled it down. They let it go into a state of
Hmm.
deterioration, and it was pulled down, which was very sad. Lots of
Oh, it
people
is.
sort of protested at that. But there's still a very strong Lewis Carroll influence in the
Hmm.
town. They've got a Lewis Carroll trail, and they have statues all over the town of characters, and the Mad Hatter's there, and the Hare, and all sorts. Yeah.
Ah, we might be distantly related because my ancestors on my dad's side are Welsh, so
Oh
part
yes.
Welsh, because my
Yeah.
surname is Powys, Powis,
Oh
which is the
yes.
English
Mm.
spelling. So
Quite likely. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now Exo said apparently MI5 have an acknowledged group that shut down ley lines. Sounds
Right.
insane.
Mhm.
I'd think that would be energy lines because you can't. I don't think you can shut
Interesting.
down a ley
Yes.
line, but at
Yeah.
certain levels they are
Mm.
into all this stuff. Well, the
Mm.
CIA were apparently, and Yuri Geller was
Yes. Yeah.
involved. Although
Indeed. Yes. Mm.
I think Yuri Geller is a very good showman.
Mm. Mm.
He knows how to draw an audience.
Oh,
But
definitely. There is a connection, let's say, with the other side of things as well. Very
yes,
intelligent, but as you say, very clever on the surface too. Good
oh yes,
geologist as well.
really. And I saw a
Oh, yeah.
pro.
Yeah.
I saw a program once. I used to have a satellite television years ago,
Mm. Mm.
and it was a German show, and he was speaking English and had a sort of someone speaking German over it.
Yes.
And all the people spoke English. They're quite amazing on this show. And what he's doing is getting people to think and try and communicate with ET.
Yes.
And they were
Mm.
focusing on a certain part of the galaxy
Yeah.
where there is supposed to be. And scientists were looking to see if there was anything happening. It is a really good program, a really
Yeah.
fascinating
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
But what's your view of ET or extraterrestrials? Because we've got
Mm.
Ben who's coming on the show. You may know him. He's
Mm.
very big
Mm.
in the UFO world.
Oh,
He's
yes. Mhm.
and I always spell his surname wrong.
Mm.
I name him after the footballer. It's Ben Emlyn Jones,
Oh, that
and he's
sounds
coming on
interesting.
soon.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
he's quite well known in the
Mm.
ET world. He's written books on
Mm.
it and things like that. What is
Yeah.
your view
Yeah.
of them? I mean, there are
Yes, I
two
think.
views, but
Yeah.
so please carry on. Yeah.
Once you strip away all of the myths of the situation, you get down to the nitty gritty. I'm pretty certain that there are people very close to us who are seeking to communicate with us, and if we can expand the mind a bit more, we'll get a chance to communicate with them. I've heard several people, very intellectual people, saying that we're a bit like the ants on the giant's table, and that the ETs are very much, if you like, in control of things, and we simply are the energy that drives the situation. But yeah, I think it's fascinating.
Well, I'm always been fascinated in the
Mm.
paranormal, but
Yeah.
there is several modes of thought. For
Mm.
example, before people started looking up into space, people used to think that these entities, whatever it was they could see in the sky,
Mm.
were demons,
Yes, I
and
can
some people
imagine they
believe
did.
that they are demons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
It
know.
happened
It
the other
could
way
be.
as well, because lots
Hmm.
of people thought that the sun was a god, and that's where the expression "the Son of God" came about.
Hmm.
And but they were very much. It goes both ways. It goes from lifting things up to a deity to demonic presences.
Yes, it's.
Mm,
I don't know. I mean, like crop circles.
mm,
Um,
mm.
fascinating
Yeah.
subject. But you don't hear so much about them now. Doesn't mean to say they're not going
No.
on,
No.
but you don't hear much about crop
No.
circles.
No.
But I think what gets me though, you'll always go. I think there's a government department whose job is to muddy the water.
Oh, yeah, I'm
So you
sure.
get
Yeah.
something come along, and then they'll
Yeah.
come along. Oh yeah, somebody, and
Yeah.
I get fed up with these smart
Mm,
Alex
mm, mm,
um,
mm.
that go along and say, look at this scientifically. Say, oh no, 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 we can't do this, can't do
That's right.
that, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
the BBC types that do
Yep.
that, and that
Clouded
really
with
gets up my
statistics.
oota.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I mean, you know, we are spiritual sort of beings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no one size fits all. We're not like cars that turn out on a production line. But even cars
Mm,
that turn out on a production line,
mm.
it's quite surprising. I really do believe that some of them will get on with their own and some of them won't.
Yeah. Quite right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but now where are we now? Oh yes, Michael Benton. Did you have a potty time? Yes, because he was on potty time, wasn't he, Michael
Yeah.
Benton?
Very intelligent
Uh,
man. Yeah.
uh, now I haven't read this one. Mark Atterwood did a show at Arborough Stone Circle. Round the outside of
Mm.
it were
Oh, yeah.
stones with VR on them. He claims royalty
Mm.
were either tapping or destroying the ley lines.
Oh. Mm.
Hmm, that's interesting.
It
Um,
is. Yes.
although, unless it was VC, because that's what you put
Mm.
before your signature if you're forced to sign something you don't want to. You put
Yes, indeed.
VC, which
Yes.
is
Yeah.
Vicactus. So there
Mm.
we are.
Mm.
Now, crop circles, Hachi Hachi, are alive and well. I'm in the Winchester border. They're real.
Mm. Mm.
Because
Yeah.
I think the first written account of crop circles was in the 16th century in Hertfordshire, where I live.
Oh, yes. Mm.
And I've seen one. I've seen one that was in
Oh, great.
Cuffley many
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I took pictures of it, but I didn't know it because I think the difference between the fake ones and the real ones. The real ones, the crops are the stem is burnt down the centre,
Right. Right. Yeah.
but the fake ones,
Mm.
the crops
Mm.
have just bent over where someone's laid
Mm.
them down.
Mm. Yeah. Do you think
Yes,
they're where space vehicles land?
I don't know.
It's
It could
difficult, isn't
be.
it? I
It
know there
is.
was
I
an
mean,
incident.
sorry,
There's an
carry on.
incident in the 60s where they found some cattle in a field, and they dismembered this cattle and taken out various parts of their body. But when they analysed it, they couldn't have been taken out with a scalpel or a knife or anything else. They were minutely taken
Hmm.
away from the salvage around each item. And they had a feeling that that had something to do with extraterrestrials.
Well, Richard D. Hall went into it. He
Mm.
studied it,
Ah,
and he said they usually take a slice from the jaw, the
yes.
tongue,
Mhm.
and it's very peculiar. And he's got an account of a human that's been found like that,
Oh,
mutilated. And this
gosh. Yeah.
chappie, and it was in Wales. I'm sorry to frighten
Mm.
you,
Mm. Yeah.
but apparently what happened, he disappeared. This chap,
Yes.
and then he was found on top of, I think, some coal, a pile of coal or something, and he'd been sliced up, and as if he'd been dropped there
Oh, dear
from
me. Yeah.
something. And there's
Yeah.
lots of these animal mutilation, the human mutilations,
Mm.
very, very odd. And there's also things like the First World War. Now, that is a strange one. There seem to have been more hauntings in the First World War than any other war, and that was the
Mm.
Angels of Mons.
Oh,
Now, I
yes.
don't
Mhm.
know
Mm.
whether that's true,
Mm.
whether it's I mean, I know that oh, uh, that's many years before that, that ship that was supposed to have been found with no one on board, it was the Mary Celeste.
Oh, yes, yes. Mm,
Now that has been hyped up
mm, mm.
because loads of ships were found abandoned, and they were usually
Yeah,
assurance frauds or something
yes.
like that.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
the chap who wrote it wrote Sherlock Holmes. What was his name? It was
Conan Doyle,
uh,
Arthur
Conan
Conan
Doyle. Yeah,
Doyle.
I think
Mm,
Conan Doyle. He's a young reporter, and he wanted to make some
mm.
money for his newspaper, so he hyped the
Yes,
story
yes,
up.
yes.
Uh, Now let's have a look what we got here.
He was
Uh,
famous for seances too, Conan Doyle.
uh, Now, oh yes, yes, he
Mm,
was.
mm.
Well, he was into the Cottonley Fairies, wasn't it?
Yes, he was, yeah. Mm,
I,
mm,
I think even though the women said that it was faked when they
mm,
were in there,
mm.
I think what it was, people have been through such horrors, they wanted to believe it.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Mm,
I mean, isn't
mm,
that lovely? You've seen the
mm.
horrors of the battlefield, and you come back,
Yeah,
and there's little children with
yeah.
fairies on their hands, and
Yes,
I think
yes.
I think it's a lovely story. I really do
Oh, it
think it.
is,
I
indeed.
think it's good
Yeah.
of that. I think it was a nice thing to do. It gave
Yes,
people a lot
yes.
of pleasure. It was not doom
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
gloom, and
No.
I I mean I wanted to believe it.
Mm.
It's such a nice story, but
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
shame, you know. Now uh, what's this now? And of course, I've walked through a few. I think you're talking about crop circles. Few, Chris. Can't can't fake a real one. That's right. Yes.
Mm, mm.
Um, Exo, that was near me. Exo, are you talking about that chappie that was dumped on top of a? I think it was a. I think it was a mound of coal or something.
Mm,
Talking about that, Exo? I don't know.
mm.
Oh, hang on. He's gone on to say about 3 miles away at Todmorden.
Oh,
His
yes,
name
I know.
was Adamski. Ah,
Mm,
that was it. Yes. Uh, it must be the was it Pleiadians? Pleiadians?
mm, mm.
I don't know. I think you get ointment for that, can't you?
Yes. Yes.
Linked to a policeman who was abducted.
Mm, mm.
Um, the policeman was called Alan Godfrey. Now, Atlas is a star in the Palladius solar system. Now, Blue Ray says, I've seen, I've seen a dimensional being to my room some years ago.
Mm.
That's interesting. Now,
Fascinating stuff. Yeah.
I saw an angel once.
Mm.
Now, that brings me into another thing. Guardian angels.
Yes.
I think, I think we all have them. I
Oh,
do
yeah,
believe them.
definitely. Yes.
Um, Now, this is another interesting one. Baby with a laser. Um, I've seen blue orbs myself the past year. Saw one the other day. Now that links into these orbs, these strange metallic s- circles that they're finding around the world, and they're digging them up
Yes. Mm,
from coal mines.
mm,
They're finding them in the jungles of South America. Loads of these orbs. Sorry, I got my cables tangled up here. And uh, It's fascinating because they found them 500 meters deep in a South African coal mine. That's when they first started finding them, but they're finding them everywhere now around the
mm,
world. And they don't quite know, they're thousands, millions of years old. Why? Because nature doesn't
mm, mm,
create perfect circles with 3 lines around the outside. So
mm,
there's
mm.
something odd about it, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Mm,
But I think that with I mean, look at what was it Fort said. We skid, so we skate on the thin ice of reality. I think it was
yes.
Charles
Yeah.
Fort.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
now, what do you think about our DNA? We've got our ancestors in us,
mm.
and
I think DNA is fascinating. I think it's
yes,
something that when you think that each cell prior to birth is omnipotent. It could go anywhere, and then it goes into that template that forms a body and takes up its rightful place within it. I think it's a fascinating phenomena. And I think, as you rightly say, there's a bit of our ancestors in every one of us. And I think
Yes,
that may well be the greater part of reincarnation, that all of those droplets are being held there for the time when reincarnation occurs. Yeah, I'm a great believer in that. And DNA, I think, is a fascinating phenomena. It's
it is.
uh, it's a code that each one of us has got, and an individual code. And I think individualism and freedom are most important. So you might think the other way around and say, well, it's a branding, it's somebody marking
Mm.
us out, registering us, etc. But I don't know. I get a good feeling about DNA.
Yes, it's. I think that I personally believe that part of the control of humanity is to depress us, keep
Oh,
us in a
yeah.
state of fear and
Oh,
shock
absolutely. Yes,
all the
indeed.
time.
Mm,
Shock,
mm,
horror,
yeah.
all the
Mm,
time. Music now is dreadful, where it used to be
mm, mm,
happy and smiley and that.
yeah. Yeah.
And I actually do believe that the old saying, "Give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves,"
Mm,
and I
I
think they're
agree
going
with
too
you.
far.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
With all this
Mm,
doom and gloom and
mm,
depression.
yep.
Um, Now, Haji says nature doesn't produce straight lines either.
Mm,
But with the Alfred Watkins, the ley lines, what he said, I believe he believed it was a mapping system that our
right.
ancestors
Mm,
used. So,
yes.
and then if you find churches, because churches were built generally on ancient sites,
Yes, indeed.
but again, the difference, there's ley lines and energy lines. The energy
Mm,
lines are different, but people
yes.
confuse the two.
Mm,
They're two different things. Uh, Now, what we got here? Here we are. Um, these orbs are tiny. This is baby with a laser. In fact, exactly like the light on your mic, Chris. Yeah, it keeps looks giving me a blue nose. I've seen them in my room. Not long back, I saw one about 6 inches from my head.
mm, mm.
And there's a theory that when we go to sleep, we go into a different uh, universe.
Yep.
Because
Different realm. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, and now Rocky Road to Love said, "I don't believe in reincarnation, but I used to in my last life." Oh, but I'll respect, Hashi says, I'll respect that we're all different and are spiritual beings. Well, this is the thing about the law of probability. It's another one that's fascinated me. How our parents came together to have us. It was all by just sheer probability. How my
Mm,
father met my mother was unbelievable. The way they met. Probably your parents may have been the same.
yep.
I
Yep.
mean, my grandfather met his future wife. He was a greengrocer and he
Mm.
had a stall and he threw a rotten tomato at someone and it missed and hit this woman.
Oh,
And that
dear.
woman turned out to be his future wife. He
Yep.
went over and
Brilliant. Yep.
apologized.
Yep.
Amazing.
Mm, mm.
But uh, now, uh, do you think there are people? Now, I had an experience once that you've probably never heard of before. I was having a very bad time when I was at school, and it must have been early spring. I was coming home from school, and I was the sort of last one to the furthest house from the school. You see, and I was coming home from school, and I was always told my parents, if you see a stranger, cross the road. Don't talk to strangers.
Yes. Mm,
And I was walking along, and I was really down, very, very down. I won't go into the details of why I was down,
mm,
but I was
mm.
down.
Yeah.
Okay. And suddenly, this man was coming towards me. in the distance. And as I say, the birds were singing, beautiful spring day, blossom was on the trees, if I remember rightly. And he came up to me, and I looked at him, and it was me, but as a very old person.
Yes. Mm.
And he said, you've got, for a young man, you've got the world of worries on your shoulders. And as he passed, he winked and said, it'll pass. And when I looked round, boom, disappeared. And it did get better. But after that, I had a pain in the pineal gland. It really hurt.
Fascinating.
And what it was, it must have got into my brain. He must have put something in my brain to solve what the
Yes.
situation I was in.
Yeah. Mm.
But I always remember what he was wearing. And the weirdest thing was, for many years later, when I was at work, I bought a trench coat and he had a pair of pointy shoes and a pair of pointy shoes like he had. And I've still got them. Well, I always
That's
remember
great.
because he was dressed, he's walked along, he had a trench coat, pointy shoes, and a suit. And I've never forgotten that.
That tells you a lot about time. Yeah, fascinating.
Have you ever met anybody that's met themselves as
Yeah, deep into their inner self, and often at times of distress and difficulty. Mm.
I think that somebody said it was my guardian angel that had actually come back to look
I
like
wouldn't
me,
be
so
surprised.
it didn't
Yeah,
frighten me. But what
that's
I
a
like is how
wonderful feeling.
warm this person was. Just winked and said, "It'll pass."
Yeah,
Brave reaction. It'll pass.
yeah,
I've never
yeah.
forgotten it. It's sort of wow. But that pain I had here, it must have been
Yes.
something that is,
Mm.
what's going on,
Mm.
But now we go back. Sorry if I can't read all your chats because we like to go back. I don't know if Greg's warned you about this, but I'll go backwards and forwards into chat all the time because it makes it a big happy family. Greg Braden, the scientist, said that our DNA is encoded with the word God written into it. Don't know. Well, I mean, what's your views on religion and God and things like that? If it's
Well, I think all religions can actually lead to spirituality if properly practiced. I think one of the great purposes of religion, I think, is not to control us, though they try hard to do that, but is actually to help us to find spirituality. I think a lot of people do. I think if I had to choose a religious belief, it would be that of the Jehovah's Witnesses for two very
really.
important reasons. Yep. One, because they won't go to war, and B, because their moral code is such that they won't do anything that displeases Jehovah. And they call him Jehovah, of course, because in the Bible it says that's the name he wants to be known by. So I'm not really a terribly religious person, but if I had to choose that, I would choose Jehovah's Witnesses because of the fact that they won't go to war, they won't raise the sword in anger. During the Second World War, the Nazi officers actually trusted them to shave them with open razors. And there's just something there that appeals to me. It doesn't appeal to me to go and worship or join the Kingdom Hall or join any other
Same here.
religious group, but it just is something that I don't like violence, I don't like war, I don't see the
Not do I.
point of it, and it's that
Well,
attracted me towards it.
I was actually brought up a pacifist, and I wasn't
Yeah.
given toy guns when I was a child to play with.
Yeah.
Because of what my dad said, I've seen enough killing in my life during World War II, and he was a conscript, a reluctant conscript,
Yes.
very reluctant, and he said, "And if I have ever a son, that son will never play with guns or will ever go to war," and he made that very clear.
Respect to him. Yeah.
And I think that I like to. It's for other people to judge whether I'm spiritual or not. I can't.
Yeah, of course.
But
yes.
I like to believe that I'm spiritual. And I believe there's an energy, but I don't know what that energy is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I probably look on it.
And feel it, that's the main thing.
Well, that's it.
Mm.
I would, I don't know. I couldn't really go along to a group or anything like that.
No,
Uh,
no.
Buddhism is rather
Mm.
interesting and that
Yes.
type of
Yeah,
thing.
it is. Yeah.
I wouldn't. And
Mm.
Quakers. Now
Mm.
they're
Oh,
quite
yeah. Yeah.
interesting as well.
Yes. The silent
Um,
meditations. Yeah. Very good.
uh, they sort
Mm.
of discuss things.
Yes.
Unfortunately, like most religions, I think they've been infiltrated by this new
Yes. Yeah,
woke
they
type
do.
thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
looked on their website. I mean, I wouldn't
Mm.
join anything like that.
No, no, no,
And
no.
I'm very honest. I mean, the only time I've been to go to churches is
Mm. Mm.
christenings, weddings, and funerals, and that's all for the
Yeah.
same person.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking there. But
Mm.
uh, no, I haven't actually. Between you, I've never read the Bible,
No,
and
no.
it's never really interested me.
Mm.
Religion has
No.
never. People say, "Oh, you should read this chapter."
Mm.
No, it doesn't interest
No.
me really.
The other
Uh,
side of the coin, we get a lot of problems with certain groups of Christians who will tell us that we're sons of the devil and all this sort of
oh,
stuff
crumbs.
because they become opposed to the subject that I'm connected with. I had one come into the shop the other week and tell
Mhm.
me that I was the son of the devil. I said, for goodness sake, don't tell me dad, he won't like it. You know,
Well, White Witch, they get holy water thrown in the door
yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
they get the wrong end of the stick. It's
Mm,
all to do
mm.
with ignorance.
Yeah, yeah. I like the way
That's
that
the
they
thing.
have that belief, but I don't like the way it's preached.
Well, the thing is, it's a bit like this is one thing that puts me off a Jehovah's Witness
Mm,
is coming
mm.
around the doors
Yes,
and trying to
yeah,
sell their sort of belief to
yes,
you.
yeah.
And whether I'm very nice, they're very nice people, and I say to them,
Mm,
look,
mm.
you've probably got more chance of going to the coast and turning the sea back than me becoming a Jehovah's Witness. So no, I'm not.
Yeah,
But I agree with you.
mm.
Pacifism is
Yeah,
the thing,
yeah. Mm,
and there's lots of ex-soldiers that are
mm,
pacifists.
mm.
They've seen killing.
Oh,
They've had
yes,
enough of
yeah,
killing. And
yeah.
well, look at Smedley Butler. He wrote that book,
Mm,
War is a
mm.
Racket.
Yes,
He's
yeah,
a hero of mine,
yeah.
and
Mm, mm.
he didn't live very long after that. And they
No,
reckon he might
no,
have been
no.
bumped off.
Yes, yes,
Now
yes.
this one, Alex Gorgeous has really put one here. Uh, do you think there will be a civil war within the next 2 years, John?
I think there's a civil war at the moment. I just think that it's one of those things that is stewing under the surface. So I'm afraid I
Mm.
must answer yes. But I hope that it's something that clears the air rather than muddies the air. But
Well,
yes,
yes.
mm,
Unfortunately, with civil wars, they have to be
mm,
financed by someone.
of
And
course,
what
yeah.
usually happens, there's a kind of a tyrant comes along
Mm.
who promises all the goodies. Look at Chairman
Yes.
Mao, what he did.
Mm,
And there's
mm.
a power vacuum, and the
Yeah,
tyrant feels a power vacuum.
you're
And
right.
that's
Yeah.
what happens with almost every civil war. I
Yes.
hope there isn't a civil war.
Mm,
What I
mm.
do hope is that people ignore governments out of existence
Yes. Yeah, indeed.
politely and
Yeah.
peacefully. So,
Yes.
no, we're not
Yeah.
going to pay your silly taxes.
Mm,
No, we're not going to do
mm,
this. We're going to look after our
mm.
people. We're going to be kind to our people.
Yeah.
And if you can, sling your hook sort of attitude. And I think that is the way forward to be
Yes. Mm,
firmly polite,
yeah.
respectful, and
Mm.
adhere by natural law. That
Yes.
is, do
Oh,
not cause
absolutely. Yes.
injury, loss, nor
Mm,
harm.
mm. No.
That's it. That's
Mm.
basically it. Because
Yeah.
what gets me is governments, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, they rule by violence.
Oh, they are.
That's the
Yes.
thing.
And usually
They're
for
very
money. Yeah.
violent.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Mm,
right. We've got the strongest army in the world. We're
mm,
all this.
mm,
I mean, all this thing about Russia and that. Russia
yeah.
is
Yeah.
no threat to
Mm.
Great Britain.
No.
But
No.
but I think that people do fall under a form of hypnotism of psychopaths. Though
Yes.
I really do
Oh,
believe
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've worked in
Mm.
offices, where it's
Yeah.
happened.
Mm.
Now,
Mm.
baby with a laser says, "John, I'm in Wales all the
Mhm.
time, all the time." And I, s- we all, everybody's got, as Dwight Milligan said, or everybody's got to be somewhere. And I see evidence of Wicca all over.
Mm,
Is
mm.
Wicca big round those parts? It seems to
Oh,
me.
yeah, it's something that has remained in Wales and amongst Celtic communities for a long time. Very ancient religion.
Mm,
And of course, because it's very much to do with the worship of nature, it's becoming very popular because of what's happening with the what we're told about the Earth and about the play. Sorry, about the planet, I should say. Um,
mm.
yeah, definitely, there is quite a lot of Wicca. Yes.
And also, I think that the powers that be have not only just that they've told us what they want us to know, not
Mm,
necessarily the truth, and that's been like that for
absolutely, yes.
years.
Yeah. Mm,
So I am the king. I think Monty
mm,
Python summed up perfectly. I'm the king. Well, who says?
mm.
Well, who says? I'm voted
Yeah,
for you.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
but I mean, I don't even believe in voting and democracy. This
Mm,
sounds a bit
mm.
weird because
Yes. Mm.
with with common law, you've got an inner peace. And I
Yes.
think that 99% of people are fine. It's just the 1% we've got to look out for.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Mm.
And now, was it Hachi said, respect, love your neighbour, and don't do anything to anyone else that you wouldn't want done to yourself. And
Yeah.
also, if someone is rude or there's something that you do not know what battles they're fighting in their
Oh,
head,
exactly. Yeah.
it's in their mind.
Send them lots of
So,
love. That's the important thing.
and I think that, if you've been through hell
Mm,
mentally
mm.
and things like that, it's important to always be kind
Oh, yes,
because you
indeed.
just
Yes.
do not know what's going
No,
on.
no.
People are going to a place, all this type of things,
Mm,
and that's the thing. Now, uh, the other thing, about with Wick and things like that, um, round a place called Sandy in Bedfordshire. Have you ever been to Sandy in Bedfordshire?
no, I've heard what. I know the name. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you haven't missed
Mm.
much. Famous for Brussels sprouts. Do not go there on a wet February day.
Oh, dear.
Yes. You start, and what is a bit worrying is when you drive away from the area, you can still smell it.
Oh, dear.
But no, what I was going to say is
Mm,
Sandy in Bedfordshire is very, very creepy, and there's a lot of sort of like Wicca and
mm.
strange
Oh,
things that go on there
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
I'll
But
look out for that. Yeah,
it's a bit like the Wicker Man film. I mean,
yeah,
it's entertainment, but it's a
yeah,
hodgepodge of everything. Even
yes.
the
Ah,
obbios down in
yeah.
Cornwall, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
entertaining. It's good
Yeah,
entertainment.
of course.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now, our king was born into the role. He doesn't know any better. Nice
Mm,
council house he's got. Well, that's it, really. They're born into it, but
mm.
you know, I think that going back to belief in government, I think it's the same as what Larkin Rose was saying. It's a kind of superstition, government,
Yes.
that we've got to have someone in charge. And people say, "Oh, if
Yeah.
there's nobody in charge, it would be anarchy." Well, if I click my fingers now and we've said, right, that's government gone, it would be anarchy. I think
Mm,
you've got to get
mm.
people slowly out of that state of mind.
Yes.
It's not an overnight thing. But
Mm,
I
mm.
actually think that I don't. I hope there isn't a revolution. I really hope there isn't, because again, it always ends up bloodthirsty and nasty every
Yes.
time, every
Mm.
time. And I just hope that now there isn't. Now we've got to do some plugging. Now there's the website down here,
Mhm.
johnstarskey.co.uk. Anything interesting that you're going to speaking at or doing soon?
Yeah, there'll be quite a few events after the Christmas period. Be doing some more special interest weekends where you can come
Oh,
residentially or non-residentially, weekended no for a weekend, and we do all sorts of subjects. The next one, I think, is actually going to be on the development of magic, and we'll also have the voice healing gentleman that I spoke to you about coming into the picture too.
Wow. Right. So would that be sort of like springtime, May,
Yes,
June, or something
it'll
like
be the
that?
end of February.
End of February. Now
Yes.
that's interesting. Let's hope the ice and snow has gone away. Now the
Yep.
other thing is, mind you, we can drive. Was it 70 miles an hour along the motorway? And when we get to Wales, it's a 20-mile speed limit, isn't it? I think it is, isn't
Some
it?
of
Or,
them, yes.
it got,
Bit of a
yes.
bit of a farce, that is. Yeah.
Yes, we
Mhm.
got him down here as well.
Yes.
Now, can you elaborate on this weekend? Because I get a bit twitchy about this. It sounds rather
Mm,
interesting.
mm,
Now,
mm,
I mean, you don't have live broadcasts from there, do you?
mm.
No, but
Sometimes we get some fascinating people come, from all over the
mm,
place. We had a Russian gentleman who
mm,
attended the one before last, and yeah, we have some fascinating folks arrive.
really? Now, do people stay in hotels
Yes,
or
yes.
so what happens if you're just going to go to it? I mean, you can stay in bed and breakfast camp. I don't know, not February,
Yeah,
no,
we
not
um
camping
we
February.
arrange accommodation, or you can come non-residentially. You want to get your own accommodation, but normally people will
Mm,
stay over for a couple of nights whilst we conduct the weekend, and yeah, we have great fun as well as get serious on the subjects as well, and some good
oh,
speakers
brilliant.
too.
I mean, is it? Can you give some idea of the cost? What people would pay for this
The last
weekend,
one
or
was £225.
it's not bad? And would this be Saturday and Sunday, or a long
Yes.
weekend, or
Saturday and
Saturday?
Sunday. Sometimes it'll go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but normally Saturday and Sunday.
Brilliant. And do you ever do any talks in Hertfordshire at all? Because
All over the place. Yeah,
really,
yeah. I do performances too, where I pick people from the audience and tell them things, etc. Yeah,
because I've actually been to spiritualist church and I've actually seen
yeah,
mediums
yeah.
sort of say,
Mm.
some of them are good, some of them not so good.
Exactly. If you get a good medium, they're excellent. But if you get somebody who
Mm.
wants to know if you know Fred, Ted, or Alice, and they're
Mm.
saying "God bless you," forget all about it.
Well, I went to one
Mm.
and the woman started laughing, so I hit her because I've always been told that you should strike a happy medium. Sorry,
Yes.
terrible. You've probably heard it 1,000 times that one. Yeah. No, I didn't really, folks. I'll probably get people emailing me. How dare you hit a medium? That's disgusting. I mean, I told a Chinese a joke about Chinese dogs, and people took it
Mm.
very seriously. But
Oh
so you got to
dear.
be careful. But so
Yeah.
now you come down to Covent Garden. Do you sort of do that regularly?
Yes, about once a month. Yeah. I had a
I
very
see.
funny incident once at
Mm,
spiritualist church. I went to see it and thought, well, I'll go and see the medium, see what they're like. I didn't know them, and I went with an open mind. And it was amusing, but it shouldn't have been amusing, really, because he said, "Oh, I'd like to come to you." He said, "I can see a man with you, and he walks on his feet a lot." Well, he's not going to walk on his bloody head, is he?
and the other one is I see a woman. Hang on. And this one says, "Oh, Elizabeth, that's it. Yeah, it's cooking. It's your grandmother." Well, most grandmothers cooked. There
Yes,
wasn't many
indeed.
grandmothers that
Yeah,
didn't cook, and
yeah.
and you can tell, but they make it bad for the
Mm.
professionals like yourself.
Yes, yeah. There are
That's
some
it.
really good
But
mediums about too, and yeah,
oh, there are. I mean, there's
yeah.
yourself was the
Mm.
late Helen Duncan. I think was probably a good
Yes,
one.
that's right. There's a
Uh,
lady in London who was called Nella Jones, who was extremely good. She got involved with a lot of cases with detectives and sorting out crime
mm,
scenes, but in the end, she had to walk around London with burly minders by her. But
really,
she's very, very good. Yeah. Mm.
because
I,
I
I met.
think also I know the police use mediums. They have
Yeah,
used
sometimes.
mediums
Yeah,
years ago,
yeah.
um, but and I'm not sure. I think the army use them as well. I think they
Yes.
do,
Mm, mm,
but
mm.
I, I I think that really my view is that we like radios. We can tune
Yes,
in and we can broadcast.
that's right.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've been in meetings where we're sitting round and we can't get over a problem. And suddenly you can see the answer to the problem. And before it comes out of your mouth, 3 other people have got exactly the same what you're thinking.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
That is too uncanny. And it's a bit like, for example, when we first powered flight, it happened apparently within about a couple of weeks around the world. It was
Yeah.
in New Zealand, Brazil, America, and it's debatable whether the Wright brothers were the first. It might have been Brazilian, but the thing is, these things, how people hit upon things. I mean, everything around us, this microphone, the seat you're sitting on, has come from the imagination of a person.
Yeah, of course.
This is what I'm finding difficulty in this modern world. They're trying to stifle imagination and creativity.
Yes, indeed.
And I think
yeah.
the 60s and 70s were, look at the music, it was creative, it was progressive.
Yeah.
Comedians like Spike Milligan, now you might like, you either like or dislike it, but creative, very, it's so sad that these things are happening. But I actually do believe that if we can put our minds to thinking of a peaceful resolution to everything that's going on,
yes,
that power, that energy might come about. And of course, being peaceful civil disobedience. Say, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to. The more we have people doing that, the better things will be, I think.
Oh, indeed,
because
yes.
it's how they get. I mean, you think about it. If I said to you, right, we're going to attack Russia. Here's a gun. Go and kill some Russians. What? No. But you put all the hype in and all that, you find people outside the recruiting offices.
Threaten somebody with their mortality and they'll do it.
Yes. Well, that's it. I mean, I remember the Falklands War. And I don't know whether it was propaganda or not. And the recruiting offices, there's queues around the corner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Anyway, John, this is fantastic. And I'd like to thank Greg, who was on last night, who's your friend, who gave me your details. And got arranged. And without him, this would never have happened. So, Greg,
I've enjoyed it very much. Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a show about the strange what's it up at the beginning, wasn't it? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Never mind.
You're welcome on at any time. You'd like to come on again?
Yeah.
You'd be most welcome. I think we get. It's funny. I've usually found the shows going to thirds. The first third, you got to sort of think. Second, third, and then last. Way it's going. But thank you for your time. Thank you. Anything you want to promote, please say. Just drop us a note. And I think I like your pacifist views. They're very similar to myself. And hang on, was it? The Tachi said the television was designed to contact the dead originally. If I put an old movie on, the actors still make contact. Yes, I suppose you could say that. Well, let's face it, we're one of very few generations that can still see people that are long dead on film.
Oh, yes. Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
But anyway, thank you. It's okay. We'll have a little chat afterwards. John, thanks a million for coming on. We'll be here. I'll be a guest, I believe, on Paul English show this Thursday at 8 o'clock on Paul English Live on Rumble. And what we got next week? We have next Monday, we have Ben Emlyn Jones with a show called Something Going On Up There. So something going on up there. And it just leaves me to say thank you, John, for coming on the show. And please put your thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please visit John's website. And also, I don't mind giving a readout for this thing that's coming up in February. I find that quite interesting. Do you do them in summer as well?
Oh, yes, all through the summer, yeah.
That's interesting. Thanks a million. And
all right, pleasure.
Whatever happens, have a laugh. And good night.